It's a pleasure to be back on the mic with you again. That's your boy, Chef Scoop. I'm here to give you the BML's version of the Two Scoops Podcast. Now, as we get started here in the future, I would like to be able to get some folks on, but as far as right now, we're solo dolo. So this is how the Two Scoops Podcast works. We got two different scoops that I'm going to give you. The first scoop, typically the players. Who's doing what on the field, what to expect from future prospects, things of that sort. Second scoop, how the owners are playing, who's playing great, who's playing bad, who's doing best but worse, everything along those lines. Get prepared. This is the Two Scoops Podcast. So jumping in, first scoop, as I say, it's the players, who's doing what, how things are being played out on the field. One thing I want to start off with here, a lot of these opinions is definitely going to be my own. First, segment within the first scoop, I guess you could say, is who do I feel is the top 3 user linebackers in the league currently? Who do I feel is making moves, making plays with the user stick skills, as we are in the season. You definitely got to make sure you can show up and, play the best ball that you can. So I have my top 3, and I even got an honorable mention on who I feel can, come step up, show up, and play like they got with the, with the lights on. So number 1 overall, I'll start in reverse. Number 3, I got Pats linebacker Kyle Van Noy. We got Big Joe P with the Pats. He has Kyle sitting at 29 tackles, 9 interceptions, 1 touchdown. That dude is, playing pretty consistent. Making sure that he keeps Pats in the game. We definitely want to see what he can do to close out the season, but keeping it moving here to number 2. Definitely got the Eagles here. We got Rich. We got the 71 overall Nathan Gary. He's in contention for Defensive Player of the Year, balling out, showing, all the Eagles fly. 34 tackles, 7 interceptions, 2.5 sacks. Don't have any touchdowns yet, but I'm sure by the end of the season, he might be able to get one. He's 71 overall, like I said, so that's definitely user stick skills worthy there. Then the number 1 person overall, number 1 player, and a lot of times when it comes down to having players that's highly rated, a lot of times some folks don't necessarily want to play on them. Sometimes they do. It's a gift and a curse. But Panthers, Luke Kuechly, Batman, the GOAT, definitely showing that, he knows how to use a top line, top of the status linebacker here. Luke Kuechly, 55 tackles, 10 interceptions, 2.5 sacks. And 2 sacks. And he also has 1 touchdown to tie to it, to book it. That's what I'm talking about. Luke Kuechly, Nathan Gary, they're battling it up for Defensive Player of the Year on the NFC side. At least that's what it's showing for us here. We're going to keep it moving here. Jumping into also who's leading the league, at least top 3 interceptions here. So right back at it again. Tied for second, Kyle Van Noy. Big Joe P with the Pats, 9 interceptions. Of course, also we got H-Man Hunter Grand. Tyrann Mathieu, 9 interceptions. Showing up, showing out, being the honey badger that we know he always is, always can be, always will be. And then, of course, as I previously stated, the user, as QJP would say, we got Luke Kuechly at number 1 here with the Panthers again. Batman the GOAT, 10 interceptions. He's leading the league in interceptions right now. That's something that's outstanding. Of course, this is just pretty much in the process. The stats is rolling during week 11. We're trying to get back on track, trying to make sure we're advancing at the same time. We're on par with the dynasty, trying to make sure that we keep everything symmetrical, rolling and keeping it together here. So then moving on for the last segment that I have here in the first scoop, top 3 leaders in sacks. We got another tie for second place here. We got, I think his name is Matthew Judon from the Ravens. Underrated. He got 11 sacks. Then, of course, I'm a win it. His name will come up again a little bit later on. But Jabal Sheard for the Colts, of course. He has 11 sacks, holding down for the Colts defense there. Definitely making plays, definitely regulating. I would say a new school Cameron Jordan, handling his business like he's supposed to. And then, of course, can't go too far without mentioning my own team. Number 1 in the leader in sacks, Matthew Ioannidis, Redskins. Your boy Chef Scoop, 11.5 sacks. Let's do what we do when we keep it moving. So then also, one thing I want to get into here as well, I want to take a moment to see, we got some draft prospects coming up. We got a few little storylines that's talking about some prospects that's coming into the blueprint. Just kind of see how things are going to play out for us here. So, looking back here, first thing that comes to mind, week 1, we had the cornerback Samuel Beasley from the Horns, hook 'em. You know, speed runs in the family. His father was a former Olympian. So, you know, he's definitely, I think he's like 6'6", So, if you're looking to get you a lockdown cornerback that's going to be out there and run, his father has, you know, Olympian speed. I'm thinking Aaron Ross, Sonya Richards Ross, you know, that type of bloodline when it comes down to the Horns, UT. So then, that's what popped up for us in week 1. Week 3, Orlando Doyle, Notre Dame. He gave up pursuing Olympic goals. So that's two prospects right there that has some ties to Olympics. So, you know, they either going to have Olympic speed or Olympic strength. So, you know, they're already coming in trying to regulate for the blueprint. He gave up pursuing Olympic gold in powerlifting. Again, Olympic strength in favor of playing football for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. So definitely want to see what he does when he comes into the league. Definitely slated to be one of the top picks. You know, it's kind of hard to find those nose tackles, those D tackles, those hog mollies, as they say up front. So definitely looking at Orlando Doyle. Not really sure what all his skill set's going to bring to the table, but we know he'll be strong as an ox. Keeping it moving. Week 6, we got a little bit of a sub tab about a fullback. Don't know why they telling us about fullbacks, but we'll see what they say. We had a dude, Allen Simonson from Clemson, and he says he has games where his heart is not in it. Of course, you're a fullback. You know, you pretty much a sledgehammer for the running back. You know, you go unrecognized. You don't get no notoriety. So definitely something that I don't blame him for not having his heart in it. Football ain't for everybody, and definitely when you're playing in the blueprint, if your heart ain't in it, you're gonna get killed or get somebody else killed. Moving on, week 9, that's when we got some type of notification about Antoine Posey. Oklahoma defensive end, had been terrorizing offenses left and right in the Big 12 until he faced an unknown prospect by the name of Anthony Taylor. Now, if you're a big name prospect, you're a D1, you know, top of the line defensive end, making plays, doing things big, you know, getting notoriety. You don't want a no-name left tackle to come in and lock that. You got to be able to handle any and all comers. We definitely want to make sure you show up and show out. So then, kind of get a little bit more information on this Anthony Taylor. He's from Arkansas State. Again, this is the one shining moment, like old NCAA would say, that allowed him to dominate Antoine Posey. Maybe it was a blemish. Maybe it was a fluke game. We don't know. But after that game, that allowed, you know, scouts to start putting eyes on Anthony Taylor. They was pretty impressed by him. Dominated him, like I say, dominated Posey. And he was the key to that win because, you know, Posey been regulating everything. He been mounted up like Warren G, Nate Dogg, regulators. But when he faced Annie, he couldn't regulate. So after that, I guess since Posey had such notoriety, it allowed for him to go ahead and get his one shining moment, as I said here, and that allowed for Taylor to go ahead and start being regarded as one of the top O linemen and maybe even the best prospect overall. So, you know, the scouting has a tendency to do that. If you go up against you're an offensive lineman, you go up against one of the most feared pass rushers, and you shut him down, that's going to get you some looks. That's definitely going to get you some notoriety there. So I think we're going to see what he do for the rest of the season. See if it comes back around. See if we get another storyline about him. See if there's anything else that plays out that might be able to help him keep moving up the boards. Last I checked, he was graded somewhere in the 2nd round. That's still a reach if they say he's supposed to be the best overall prospect in general. So we'll see what happens with Anthony Taylor at left tackle for Arkansas State. Moving on, also, we got a middle linebacker that started making a name for himself. Morgan Painter from Stanford. From what the scouts tell us, locked up, taking away opponents' run game all season. And, you know, a lot of teams need a lockdown, you know, middle linebacker, stuffing the block. You know, he's pretty solid. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's like 6'1", 6 foot, 240, somewhere around there. He's definitely trying to lock up the middle, and he's also projected to be, one of those first round picks. So some of these players, you're going to have to get up there early. You're going to have to go ahead and open up that pocketbook, move some of this capital as far as draft picks. If you want to try to get some of these top name prospects, if you're going to help your team out. Then jumping right in, we got another dude, a random dude, just in week 11. His name was RJ Green, and it said surprised many people by healing quicker than he thought, but couldn't really find him. I mean, he's not on the draft board, so I guess if you hurt, we can't scout you. You might be healing quicker, but you ain't out there on the field. And a lot of times when it comes to these prospects and them needing to grow, get better, and get big, I think the old adage is you can't get paid in the training room and in the tub. Or I think the statement was, you can't make the club in the tub. I think that's what the statement was. You can't make the club in the tub. I'll give a little bit of my viewpoint on how it would go for scouting in the blueprint on Madden 19. You got to be smart about your draft picks. You got to go in thinking. You got to look at, okay, who do I have contracts expiring? Who are my big name people that might not be coming back, might retire, that might have money that I can't afford to pay them, might want money that I can't afford to pay them. You might even have to look at it to some points of, what spots do I need to fill? Now, mind you, a lot of things have changed now. We have schemes, we have archetypes, different things along those lines. So when it comes to, when you're scouting, don't be out there just scouting any and everybody. You wasting points, you wasting scouting time, you wasting valuable scout time. Scout for your scheme. If you're not scouting for your scheme, you're messing up the money, you're messing up the main green. Because what happens is, you draft a prospect, they don't fit the scheme, they're not going to develop. They'll be decent, but they're not going to develop as quickly as if they fit the scheme. So now, you finna end up getting somebody fired. Because if the people can't get on the field, then they're not going to be able to participate. Normally, if you got a first round pick, you expect them to come in and start, or at least contribute significantly. You wasting first round picks on flyer players that you like, oh, I see they got a lot of speed, or they got a lot of strength, or they got this, but they don't fit the scheme. Them players is not going to ever really get any better than what they are when you drafted them. And when you're dealing with the blueprint, this is a marathon, not a sprint. You need to be thinking long term. Long term. All right. So now we're moving on over to our second scoop. Let's see what we got here on our second scoop. Now, mind you, the second scoop is about the owners, the people on the sticks, what they doing with the team overall. What's the big picture, big plays? What's going on? So one of the top things I wanted to look at here in our first installment of the Two Scoops, on the second scoop, with the owners, top 3 owners doing the most with less. Now, of course, we already know Colts, I'ma win it. Madden 18, he won several let me clear my throat. Several blueprint championships. He got several banners in the blueprint hanging. Several. We had a little bit of debacle when it came time for the blueprint team draft. A little bit of a debacle. He went in, he put in before the draft even started that he wanted the Eagles, but I guess he didn't put the request in the right format or how it was supposed to be presented. So he said, you know what? Once he actually got a chance to check and see what was going on, 5-6 picks in, didn't get his Eagles. So you know what? Being the cocky man that he is, being the man that's confident in the skills that he is, I'm going to win and say, you know what? Give me the last team. Give me whatever trash is left after y'all done picked over my scraps. Give me whatever trash is left. So he took the Colts. And by God, this man sits at 8-1 right now. One of the top 3 teams in the league with the Colts that have one of the worst rosters in the league. By all means, it shouldn't really be anybody else on this list. I got a couple other teams, but I'll really just stop it at that. You got one of the worst rosters in the league. You said, give me the scraps. after after y'all done picked over everything else, and you sitting at 8-1. The season is about stick skills. I'ma win it. Definitely showing he got that in spades. Moving on. Top 3 owners playing bad. I'm like, moment of silence for them. Moment of silence. Okay, jumping right back into it. Top 3 owners playing bad, and this is in the season. So this is looking at, okay, what type of team, if you just let the computer do what they do, you know what? Just as Jamie Foxx would say, you know what? Just let the computer do what it do, and you should at least be 500. Number 3, Falcons. Chico, how you sitting at 4-5 and you got the Falcons? You got one of the fastest defenses on the game. I know Julio hurt. I know Devontae hurt. I know when I played you, I knocked Tevin Coleman out. Maybe y'all need to go holler at your training staff. Somebody in the training facility is not doing the job. Somebody is not taking care of these players, because every time we turn around, it's okay. It's going to be injuries regardless. Everybody got injuries, but your big name players getting hurt. I understand the scrubs getting hurt on special teams. They trying to do all they can to stay on the team, throwing their body on the line. But your big name players, I wouldn't be surprised before this season is over with if Matt Ryan is missing some games. So 4-5, come on. We need you to do more with what you got. Number 2, Steelers. I'm disappointed. I don't even know this user. Day 30525. I don't even know this user. I'm sorry. I don't even know this owner. But you got the Steelers with AB, James Washington, Juju Smith-Schuster, Le'Veon, I carry on Bell. You still got Big Ben. You got all these weapons, and you at 3-6. 3-6. Boy, if you don't get your. And then the number 1 that is the utmost disappointment, Rams. E. Brown, 1481. I'm not sure who this person is either, but you got the Rams, and you at 3-6. The Rams. So let's just look at the talent that they got. So you got Ty Gurley, workhorse, bona fide, Hall of Fame caliber type running back. You got Brandon Cooks from Oregon State, 4.33 in the combine, burning people. You got Jared Goff, who, don't get me started on Jeff Fisher, because he's a horrible coach. But you got the right type of coach in. You got the right type of system in. But then you took over. You came in, took over the Rams, and you pulled a Jeff Fisher. Even worse than Jeff Fisher. At least we know with Jeff Fisher, he's going to at least be 7-9. You 3-7. You're not too far off. You're going to have to bring up some of these wins, but you're not too far off. Then we're not even talking about the defense. Keith Talib, Marcus Peters, Ndamukong Suh, Aaron Donald. Come on, man. 3-7. You just gonna let Nine Time come in and just handle up and just run away with the division? I was to jump right back to the whole debacle of the team draft. If it wasn't for the simple fact that I had the schema, who has now been promoted up to the dynasty, and also Rich with the Eagles, who actually ended up getting the Eagles. If it wasn't for both of them reaching out to me and telling me, okay, you said you want competition, come get the Redskins. People are scared of us. They scared of this division. They run from the Redskins. Get them. I told them I want competition. I want it now. I ain't never scared like Bone Crusher. If it wasn't for that, I would have took the Cardinals just to get back in the NFC West, just because Niner Time came in and took my Niners from me. Yes, I'm a diehard Niners fan. Came in, got my Niners. Somebody need to regulate him over there in that division. But as it turns out, he seems to be a fairly good user. They're not handling their business in the NFC West. Y'all just laying down on the table. letting them put a spick in you, letting them go ahead and take y'all out to the slaughter. Y'all gotta do more in the NFC West. That'll do it for this edition of the Two Scoops Podcast for the Blueprint. Stay tuned for further versions, further iterations, further chances for us to give our scoop on the Two Scoops for Blueprint 1.